So we're going to start off with a program called Microsoft Office Lens. Microsoft Office Lens is designed to scan documents into your phone. In this case, we're going to use it to not only scan a document, but also to have it read out loud. So to start, we're just going to tap on the Office Lens app. And as you can see, I've got a piece of paper here. This is a page from a syllabus. So I'm just going to make sure that I have the page in the frame, and then I'm just going to tap the button at the bottom like I was taking a picture. Next, the app gives me the option to crop the picture to just select the portion of the page that I want. So in this case, we're just going to highlight the course description, and then I'll tap confirm at the bottom. And there we go. So now I've scanned a part of my syllabus. I can swipe up from the bottom, and it gives me filters just like on Instagram. Down at the bottom, I can select black and white or grayscale or whatever makes it easiest for me to read my text. And then when I'm happy with the text that I've selected, I'm just going to tap done. Okay, so now I have my scan, and it's going to give me the option to save it in lots of different ways. So I can save it to the gallery on my phone, which is just the camera roll on my phone. I can save it as a PDF, or I can add it to OneNote, and so on and so forth. But what we're going to do is tap down at the bottom where it says Open with Immersive Reader. So we'll just tap the Read button. Now the program will analyze all of the text that is in the picture that we took. So what we end up with is the text extracted out of the photograph. So the easiest thing we can do with this is just touch the play button at the bottom of the screen. And when we do that, then the screen will read the text out loud to us.
Course description. College Success is a comprehensive course designed to enhance student success and retention, as is help you create greater success in college and in life. In this course, you will learn.
So there we go. There are lots of options with Immersive Reader as well. So if we tap the little speaker with the gear icon that's next to the play button at the bottom, then we can change the speed at which she's reading. So we can have her read more slowly or more quickly. We can also choose between a female voice and a male voice using the toggle switch. In the top right corner, there are 3 lines that take us to the options menu. On the options menu, we can change the text size of the display. So we'll make the text bigger. And we can also increase the spacing between the letters. So now if we go back, you can see that the text is much larger and easier to read, more spaced out. Make it a little smaller so it all fits. We can select between 3 different fonts. We can also use themes to set the colors. So if we tap more colors, you can see that there are a wide variety of colors that you can pick from. At the top, there are 3 tabs. So the first one is the font options. The middle tab controls the highlighting options. So what you can do is you can toggle the syllables display. So if I turn on the syllables display, then it breaks up the words into individual syllables. This can be really good if you're trying to learn how to pronounce words, like new vocabulary. You can also have it color different parts of speech if that helps you to understand the sentences better. This can be especially good if you are trying to read something for an English class. So in this case, I will have it highlight all of the verbs by coloring them red. And then if I close that again, then you can see that all of the verbs in my text have now turned red. Turn that off. And then the third tab at the top lets me adjust the line focus. So in order to show you this, I'm going to go back to my text size and make it a little bit smaller. so that more of it fits on the page again. Now I can select to highlight 1 line, 3 lines, or if my text were a little smaller, 5 lines at a time. So I'll select 3 lines just so I can show you. So as you can see, it now blacks out all of the screen except for the 3 lines right around where I'm reading. This is a great tool for people who get distracted when there's too much text on the page because it helps you really focus on the words that you're seeing.
Learn many pro strategies for creating greater academic, professional, and personal success.
And as you can see, that highlight automatically moves along with the reading. But that's how you can use Microsoft Office Lens and the Immersive Reader to have your text and documents read out loud to you. This works great for worksheets, flyers, any kind of text that you don't need over and over again, like a textbook. As well. So to get started, we'll just tap on the OneNote app. And now you can see that I have my information organized by notebooks. So in my case, I have a notebook called Fall 2020. So we'll just tap that. And then I have a different section for each one of my courses. So right now I just have a section for World Civ, which is History 103. So I can tap the section. And then I can have individual pages where I take my notes. So here I just have 1 page of notes taken so far. So if I tap that class notes, then you can see the notes that I've taken. So I typed in most of the notes here. We're just reviewing the syllabus today. So you do have the option to highlight things in your notes after you type them. And to do that, you just tap on the little pin icon in the top right corner. And it lets you have a pen that you can use to actually draw on top of your notes. You can also use a highlighter, and if you tap the highlighter, it gives you different colors, and you can also adjust the size of the highlighter using the slider at the bottom of the screen. I also managed to insert a photograph from my syllabus in here, so that's easy enough to do. In order to do that, all you have to do is just open up the note that you're working on. Let me get down into the note here to edit it. I just tapped somewhere in the note. And then down at the bottom of the screen, I can tap the camera icon. And then I just tap the shutter button like I was taking a picture. And then I can crop it or change the colors and things using the menu at the top. And then just tap done when I'm finished. So I can use this to add in scans of documents that I might be working on. I can also take a picture of the board if there's some notes that are especially important, or if there's a slide that I want to save. In the case of something like a syllabus where I have a file that I've downloaded off the internet, I can also attach the entire syllabus just by touching the attachments button down at the bottom and then selecting the file that I want. And there we go. So now when I tap on the syllabus file, then it asks me if I want to open it, and I can open it right on my phone. As far as taking notes, I can type in my notes, like I said earlier. So cancel that, and I can just type in. I can just type in a note like that. I can also draw or write notes. So again, I just tap the little pencil icon at the top, touch on the pen that I want, pick a color and a size, and then I can just draw right in my notes. So if we're learning about molecules, I might have like the nucleus in here, and then might want to draw some electrons on the outside. It just makes it really easy to write your notes and keep them all in one place. When you're typing your notes, you can also add lists of things. So I can put in a bulleted list. Like a grocery list kind of thing. I can also do a numbered list. So if I wanted to do some steps in order. And I also have a hyperlink button. So if I tap the hyperlink button, then I can put what I want the text to be that it shows for the link, and then I can type in the address for the website. So if I wanted to add a YouTube video here, or a website that was really helpful for me to help understand this topic, I could do that. One of the most important things that you can do with Microsoft OneNote is that you can record your lectures. If you're using an Android smartphone, the recording is limited to 3 minutes. But if you're using an iPhone, a laptop, or any other kind of device, then you can record an unlimited amount of time. To insert a recording, you just tap the microphone that's in the toolbar above the keyboard, and the device will start recording. In my case, it's not going to let me record because I'm currently recording my screen, but if I tap back and go to this note with an audio recording, you can see that I have just a little file icon, and if I tap the audio icon, then it will start to play back the audio, just like the file attachment that we did. It gives me the option of different apps that I can use to open that with. But yeah, so you can use that to record your lectures. Okay, so that's how you can edit your notes. If you wanted to add a new page to, in this case, my WorldCiv notebook, all you have to do is just tap the purple plus button down at the bottom, and then you're ready to go. You can just start typing. You can go above the line here and give it a title if you want to. So we'll just say notes today, and then just start typing my notes. In the same way, if I want to add a new class, a new section to my notebook, I just go back to the sections and then I tap the plus sign at the top of the screen and I can create a new section. So let's say that I am taking, say I'm taking a walking class. I took one of those back in college. Create that and then tap on it and I can add a page. Okay. So in my case, the way that I chose to set up my notes was to have one notebook that covered the entire fall semester with a different section for each class. But what you can also do, depending on how you like to organize things, is you can make a notebook for each different class. So if I wanted to do that, we'll just tap the little plus sign there at the top, and we'll make a new notebook. And we'll call this one Geography. And now we have a geography notebook. So we can create a section for individual chapters or units inside of the text. Or, if you had a couple different semesters, you could have a section for each semester. And then, of course, again, under each section, then you have individual pages where you can type your notes. So that is OneNote. Again, that's made by Microsoft, and that is their official tool for taking notes. What's really nice about OneNote is it automatically syncs to the cloud, which is to say that if you were to get on your laptop computer or your iPad or your Chromebook or any other internet connected device and go to OneNote.com, you can see all of the notes that you've typed in, even though you typed them in on your phone. So it automatically synchronizes across all of the devices. Really handy. And again, that's OneNote from Microsoft. Photomath is a free app that can help you solve math problems. Most math problems can be solved just by taking a picture of them. To start the Photomath app, we'll just tap on the Photomath icon. It automatically opens into my camera, and you can see I've got a handwritten algebra problem here. So we'll just put that into the box. You can resize the box by tapping and holding in the bottom right corner, and you can make it as big or as small as you like. Once you get your problem in the box, just tap the red shutter button at the bottom to take a picture. And now the program has analyzed the problem and come up with a solution. So you can see it offers a solve by graphing option as well as just a regular solving of the equation. So in this case, we've come up with an answer that x is equal to 4. If we tap the Show Solving Steps button, then Photomath will take us through step by step and show us how to solve the problem. So we can tap on each step to understand more information. And then we can tap the down arrow in the bottom right hand corner to proceed to the next step. You can also just tap the Next Step button at the bottom of the screen. So in this case, we're moving the 5 to both sides of the equation, which gives us that 3x is equal to 12. And then we divide both sides by 3 so that we can get the x by itself. So that leaves us with the answer that x is equal to 4. The program can do simple math equations like this, but it can also do more advanced ones as well. So now let's take a look at another problem. I've got a worksheet here that's got some polynomial equations. Just tap the X to go back. All right. So now we just, again, we can drag the size and shape of the box to fit. So we get a problem. Okay, so in this case, we got x squared plus 2x minus 48 is the problem, and we're factoring the polynomial. So as you can see, the answer that it comes up with is x plus 8 times x minus 6. And once again, we'll tap the steps button. And by tapping explain steps, and then tapping next step, we can actually go through the equation. Now in this one, you'll see there's 2 little dots at the bottom of the step. That's because this is a 2-part step. So it shows us both steps there. And then we wind up with our answer, which once again is x plus 8 times x minus 6. So that's how you can use it for math, sort of advanced algebra like factoring polynomials. Photomath will even do more advanced math as well. So let's take a look at a calculus problem. So again, I'm going to tap the back arrow at the top and then tap the little X to get back to my camera. And we'll just take a picture of this calculus problem. Okay. And so now the program analyzes it and comes up with x is equal to 6. So just like before, we can tap on the steps and we can see the steps to come up with the solution. At any time, if you want to save these steps, you can tap the share button in the top right corner, which give you options to share it. You can copy the solution to your clipboard, you can share it with a friend, you can add it to your OneNote notebook, or however else you'd like to save it. If you're not able to take a good picture of your problem, or if you have a problem that's not in a format that you can take a picture easily, you can also tap the calculator button in the bottom left corner, where you can manually enter your problem. So we can type in an algebra problem, 2x plus 5 equals 35, and then it will solve it for us. X is equal to 15. And then we can tap show solution to see the steps. Show solving steps, and go through step by step. Another handy feature of this program, if we go back to the main screen, in the top right corner there is the history button, and if you tap the history button, you can see all of the problems that you've solved in the past. So it's a great way to go back and look if there's a problem that you solved just recently and you can't remember what the solution was. You can just tap on it, and again you can have the solution replayed for you. So that's Photomath. It's a pretty straightforward program that's very powerful and has a lot of tools. That's the free version of Photomath. If you tap the three lines in the top left corner of the screen, you'll see that there is a sign in to Photomath, and also the ability to purchase the full version, which is called Photomath Plus. And Photomath Plus will give you more detailed explanations of each of those steps in the problem. But the standard free version of Photomath does a really great job of explaining how problems are solved. And that's Photomath. My Study Life is a great app to help you be more organized with your calendar for school. If you tap on the My Study Life app, you can enter information about the courses you're taking, assignments, tests, and lots of other stuff. So in our case, we'll tap on the three lines in the top left corner, and you can see what all of the different options are. If I go to schedule at the bottom, then I can add classes. So here I have one class. It's English 101 with Dr. Ryan Creech from 9 o'clock until 9:50 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If I tap the class, you can see that I have it scheduled in room 225 of the Mahan building. To add a new class, I just tap the plus button in the bottom right corner of the screen. Now I can add whatever subject I want, so in this case we'll add a new subject, and we'll call it Earth Science. And if you want to, you can add it to a year or semester, but we won't mess with that this time. We'll just click Save. We can type in a room, and we can type in a building. Okay, then we can add in a teacher, and we can include start and end dates if we want to. Repeats would be if you had the same class multiple semesters or multiple times. So once we're done, we just tap Save at the top. Oops, I didn't add the time. Let's see, so days, we'll say this is a Tuesday, Thursday class, and that it meets from 10:50 in the morning until, oops, till 11:30. And then we'll tap save. Okay, so now we have an earth science class. Now I'll just tap the 3 lines again and go back to the dashboard. And here I can see all of the classes that I have, all of the tasks that are due, and all of the exams that are coming up. If I want to add one of those things, I can just tap the plus button in the bottom right corner. And I can very easily add a homework assignment or a reminder about something. So in this case, we'll add an assignment for my earth science class. And we'll change the due date. We'll make it due on the 7th. And we will call this answer questions. And then we'll just say questions at the end of chapter 7. And then again, tap save in the top right corner. And there we go. So now you can see at the top in the middle, it says that I have one task. So if I tap that, then it takes me and shows me I actually have one overdue task that's due today. If I tap on the 3 lines again and go to my calendar, I can see that I can see all of my upcoming classes. And if I go out to the month view on the calendar and tap down here on the 7th, then I can see that I have a task due, which is answer questions for my earth science class on August the 7th. If I tap on that task, I can actually use this slider to mark if I've started to work on it. So let's say I've done half the questions. I can go ahead and mark it 50% complete. And then whenever I see that, as you can see here in the bottom right corner, it will show me that I'm already working on that task. Again, we'll tap the 3 lines and go to tasks, and I can see all of the tasks that I have. In this case, I have an English 101 assignment that was due July the 30th. And then I also have the answer questions assignment, which is coming up next week. If I tap exams, I can see upcoming exams that I have for this semester. And again, I can add an exam just by tapping the plus button in the bottom right corner. And as you can see, I can set the date and time, how long the exam is meant to last. I can add a seat if there's a seat assignment, a room if it's in a different place, and so on. And then just tap save when you're finished. And that's it. My homework does a great job of sending you lots of notifications. If you have an overdue assignment, it will remind you of that constantly to make sure that you get there. You can even have it send you notifications to remind you of your classes each day. If I tap on reminders under settings and turn that on, then I can set class reminders. So I can have it remind me 5, 15, or 30 minutes before classes start. I can also have it remind me up to 30 minutes before an exam, just to make sure that I remember. And of course, task reminders. Remind me about incomplete tasks at 5 p.m. the day before it's due. You can change that time if you want to, just to make sure that you're getting your homework completed. Tap and go back out to the dashboard. And that's all there is. That is the My Study Life app.